All right, welcome. So let's continue this Shira app that we've been working on. And now we'll go ahead and provide the class for the luxury house. And back to this design, we said the unique thing about the luxury house is that we want to know if they have a pool, if what's the availability of a pool, what's the availability of a garden. So let's get back here. The first thing is for us to create a new Java class. And we want to call this luxury house. Notice that the first letter is L, is capitalized L, and the subsequent words are also capitalized. So that's how you name your classes. And now I'm gonna add this definitely. So what did we say before? The first thing you think of is the instance variable, right? So at least for this basic program. So private, but hey, wait, didn't we just say that luxury house is a house? What does that tell us? We can't just, again, let's fall back to the design. Let me just move it right here. In our design, we did say that a luxury house is a house, right? And what does that tell us? Luxury house is a house. So extends house. And now we want to say private. Private, what then? So what then? Private. The next question we want to ask ourselves is what would be the data type? To know if a pool is available or not, if this luxury house has a pool or not. Did you notice how I'm asking? Has pool, right? So again, you want to give your variables meaningful names. So you don't want to call this just, you don't just want to call this pool. So you don't want to say, what's the data type to begin with? Does it have a pool? Yes or no, true or false. Two values, and that tells us that it's going to be Boolean. That's the data type. What's the next thing? The variable name. What do we name this variable? I was saying that you don't just want to say public Boolean pool. That doesn't really feel, it doesn't really have that feeling or that connotation that you're asking a question. However, if we say something like has pool, does this luxury house have a pool? Do luxury houses have pools? Does this one have a pool? You know, so has pool. That's what you want to call this. For the second instance variable, as you tell from the design, we have this availability of a garden. So here we say private, it's an instance variable. We don't want to make it available to accessible to the public for security reasons. And of course, encapsulation is a good object-oriented principle. What's the data type? Boolean. And then has garden. Again, just to denote that, hey, does this house have a garden or not? So let's go ahead and define the constructor that we would call, that would use for this to create a new object. So num bedrooms. I made a mistake here, not in, but int. Okay, and here we say double price. Let me strike in enter. And the next thing is to see if it's available, just as we did before. Boolean is available. And we did all this before, but now we want to say, does it even have a pool? And finally, we want to check if it has a garden. So has garden. And right there, we want to have our curly bracket. And now we're done with the parameters we can pass in to that constructor. And so let's go ahead and do the same thing. So for the most part, when we extend, for the most part here in the luxury house, we want to make a call to super. If we need to pass in something, or we need to use, we need to have access to a constructor in the super class. So take note, when we call super, we're calling a constructor in the super class. And I demonstrated in the previous video that it has to exactly match whatever we're passing in. So if we call this super, for instance, it's going to work perfectly fine. And it's going to go to house. And it's going to go to house and look for a constructor that has no argument or no parameter. And do we have one like that? Yes, we do, which is this one. And so there's no problem with that. Now, one thing I should also note here is that if you do not provide the super call, Java automatically provides one for you. And so, but the one Java provides for you is a call to the no argument constructor. Similarly, if you do not, and let me say that again. If we do not make a super call here, if we don't make a super call here, Java automatically makes this call for us, this super call here. Java automatically makes this for us. If we don't include it. Okay. All right. However, once we include it, it's going to look for that particular one that we're referring to. And a similar concept to that is the concept of constructors. So if we have a class that doesn't have a constructor at all, Java automatically provides a constructor for us. The constructor that Java provides for us is called a no argument constructor. And again, think of it like this. If we do not provide any constructor here, so this is the house class. If we don't provide this constructor, and we also did not provide this constructor, Java automatically creates a constructor for us that looks like this one. All right. I hope that's clear enough. But here in the super call, I want to pass in the address that comes from the user. I want to pass in the number of bedrooms that comes from the user. I want to pass in the price. And what do you remember? If I pass in price and I pass in is available, what was the problem we had before? Remember, this is calling a constructor in the superclass. And so it goes to the house.java and looks for a constructor that matches the exact same thing. So we have string, int, boolean, double. However, when we came here, we have string, int, double, boolean. So we have just interchanged things. And so we want to correct that. Just as I did. And I won't show you this error again, because by now I think you should have probably, if there's anything that is not clear to you, just let me know in the comment section. And I'll be more than happy to walk you through it. All right. So now we're done with that. The next thing we want to say is this that has guardian equal to has guardian. And this that has pool equal to has pool. And I have explained why we use this. I've explained why we're doing all this we're doing here. So I'm not going to take much time on this. So let's talk about the getters, or what is also called accessor methods. And when you think of accessor methods, just think of, oh, this is a way to access. And so we need to use get. Maybe think of it that way. Accessor methods. We must have get. We want to use them to get something. All right, so let's go ahead and define the accessor methods. For this, we want to say Boolean has pool. And here, we just want to return, has pool. And the next one is public. What's the return type? It's also Boolean, has guardian this time around. Parenthesis, curly bracket, return has guardian. All right, and we're done with the accessor method. So let's move over to the mutator methods. Mutator methods. For the mutator methods, we want to have two of them as well that can help us to set a value. So we want to know if there's pool, if there's guardian at this luxury house. So for that, we want to say public. Because we're setting value, we don't need anything returned to us. So that's going to be void. And then we want to say set has pool. And let's set the Boolean of has pool. And if you want, you can also say this dot, we can say set pool, all right? But set has pool. All right, so set this dot has pool, has pool. You don't want to do has guarding equal to this, equal to has pool. And public void set has guardian, and we want to say Boolean has guardian. And now we want to say this dot has guardian equal to has guardian. All right, so we're done with the getters and setters, or what we know as the mutators and accessors. So let me just put here in parentheses setters. All right, so let's go ahead and override the toString method, and that's the only thing we want to do here. So I'm going to have at override, and here I'm just going to say public void. I'm going to say public string to string. That's the method I'm overriding, right? Public string to string. That's the method we're overriding. And remember I said that when you say public and you have a data type here, if it's not void, then that means we're returning something. And so we're returning all the output that is in the superclasses toString. And we want to concatenate that with something that is even more specific to the luxury house. So here, I'm going to have a new line. I'm going to say has pool. And for this, we want to say if it has pool, if there is a pool there, question mark. In quote, we want to say yes. Is there a pool there? If it's true, we want to say yes. If it's not, we want to say no. And now we go ahead and say plus, which is concatenation. And the next thing we do is to have quotes, a new line. New line just moves the cursor to the next line, to another new line. And let's say has guardian. And now we want to concatenate that with has guardian. And we want to ask, does this luxury house have a guardian? If true, does it have a guardian? True. It has a guardian. True or false? If it's true, print yes. If it's not, return no. All right. I think that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much it for this luxury house class. Now let's go ahead and define a luxury house. Let's call a luxury house. Let's create a luxury house. So for that, we want to say here, let me just copy this. I'm just going to copy these. This is luxury house details. For this, I'm gonna call luxury house. What do I want to call the name of the house? Let's call this Lux 1. I know I'm not giving, this is not a meaningful name, but we're just calling this for now. And let's go ahead and say that this house is at 101 Sunset Boulevard. It has 3 bedrooms. What's the next thing? Let's come here to see. This is where we're getting that argument from. So the next thing is the price. So for the price, let's just set that to a value, and I'm just gonna call this 300, 1, 2, 3, and this is a luxury house. So let's make that a little bit 0.0. The next thing we want to have here is, let's see, double price. Is it available? I'm going to set all that to true. Yes, it's available. Yes, it has a pool. Yes, it has a garden. All right. So let's go ahead now and print Lux 1. And if we go ahead to run this application, hopefully, if I did everything correctly, we should have an output like this. So now, what do we see here? Let's just pay attention to the vacation house and the luxury house. You notice that the luxury house doesn't have anything like whether it's near beach or not, right? Similarly, the vacation house has something like near beach, but the luxury house doesn't have anything like that. But similarly, we also have the luxury house, checking if it has a garden or not, but then the vacation house doesn't have anything like that, right? And so this here, and you notice that these are all the same thing. The address, the bedrooms, the price, is it available? The address, the bedroom, the price, is it available? The only different things are this and this. This is a good use case for what we call inheritance, where we're inheriting all the attributes and behaviors of a particular object, which we refer to, which we define in the superclass. And so that's it for this video. I hope you were able to solve this problem. If you were not able to solve it, let me know in the comment section what went wrong. What did you do differently? What concepts would you still like me to further explain? Yeah, I think that's about it. And I'll see you in another one. But now this is the Sharer app, and you have successfully built an application. And even though this is not interactive just yet, we can think of making this interactive sometime later on. But just let me know in the comment section what's the difficult aspect of this project. What do you still want me to explain, to further explain? What concepts do you need more clarity on? I'll see you in another video. Thanks for sticking with me, and thanks for watching. Have a good time. Bye.